Off in using backing tracks for practice, listen to this track, Oh My Darling Clementine. Now, let's say you're just playing this traditionally, like through a CD player, iPod, or whatever, and you get this intro part, and then it starts the song, and you might not want to practice the intro part, or you might want to practice a chorus section that happens later, and so on. With Ableton Live, you can also speed or slow down the playback of the original parts, making it very easy to practice with something that is a lot slower, and as you get better, speed up the playback to the normal speed. And this is the power of Ableton Live. So first thing is this track should be warped and ready to go. There are other modules and videos at Classtrack.org that goes over specifically how to warp and prepare a track. But we're just going to have the track already warped to start. Well, just because I have it warped doesn't mean I have it in the sections that I need to use this as a backing track to practice. So what I need to do is if I press play and hear this, I can change my loop brace. And you can see wherever this loop brace is, it'll play to that point and then repeat it. So I think I want it to be right about there. And it looks like it starts not on the one, so there we go. Perfect. So that's the intro. And what I would do is I would, right now I'm holding Control and clicking it. And if I drag down, it'll duplicate it. You can also press Command on a Mac, or you can just Command or Control D to duplicate. That's a short key that's going to save you a lot of time. What I can do is I can call this Clementine Intro. And then on this one, remember, this is a clip, so it's just a container that holds this information, this waveform, and says to loop that section. But I can duplicate that same clip and have multiple different versions of it starting and playing at different points, making it very easy to loop sections. So now I can move over this starting point and find about where it stops, which I think is there. All right, so it looks like that first section is here. Perfect. So this is verse 1. And then I can again press Control or Command D to duplicate, and then I can move it over. And then this will be chorus. And we just keep doing this for the other parts. As you can see, once I found the length of that one section, it's pretty much going to be the same length. It depends on the song if you have longer choruses or bridges and so on, but that's more about arrangement and learning more about song structure. But this is a very simple beginner thing for, middle school students to beginning students of learning how to loop and practice along. So I would just then go to the next one, move that over, move it over again, because I already know this song is just basically a repeat of itself, going back and forth with verse, chorus. And then there should be just one more. Move there, and this one is actually just the end, so I would rename this end. And then I like to just personally make it beginning and end white, just so I know. So we have verse, chorus, so this will be verse, oops, This will be verse 2, chorus 2, verse 3, chorus 3, and then the end. Great, now that we have this all set up, we can say, all right, I want to practice this first chorus section. Or I can go ahead and skip to much later. The great thing about this is it's just going to loop over and over. So if I'm practicing this, like let's say I'm the oboe, I can just play this section and practice my part over and over again until I get it right. And then when I want, I can go to the next one and so on. For me, I picked this song because I am an auto harp player. And if I go ahead and just, for instance, loop this verse part, I can then just try to get it down. You can see in that way I can just loop that and then maybe go to the different section and maybe I would play it double time and then I'd be like a faster part for the chorus or so on. And you can see how I can begin to play with my variation. I can begin to play with what I want each section to sound like. It's a much easier process than having a whole song. And I've definitely tried to pick up either a cover of another track and putting it into this context makes it way easier for me to learn. Now, an example of a more complicated track with much more changes in the song arrangement, I have this track that I have written along with Michael Miracle called Glimmers. And what I did is just show this as an example of something that has more changes. So I have verse, verse 2, a pre-chorus, and so on. So in this way, if you wanted to pick up just the pre-chorus, and now it's going to loop. This one has much more complicated key changes in the chorus versus the verse and so on, especially with this bridge. So this is just an example track that I put in here so that you can see what I consider a finished track that's prepared for learning and practicing with a backing track.